All right, I'm Smig, and I am a variety Dead by Daylight content creator, streaming on Twitch, but I like to post on YouTube as well. Like to do educational content. And now that it's been, I guess, a couple months now, a couple weeks at least, since the big Operation Health patch, I just wanted to go back and take a look at some of my beginner starter tutorials and see if there's any changes that I'd make. When it comes to killer, I still truly believe in the suggestions, the recommendations that I have in that video. So we're gonna edit the description for that and leave it up, leave it as is. So still think that one's a good one. When it comes to Survivor, I kind of have a few different recommendations. So we're gonna do a little bit of an update here, and basically, I'm still recommending you check out the same survivors. We're just going with some different builds there. So if you are a console player, you have Fang available for free. So I recommend Meg, that's free on everything, David, that's free on everything, or Fang Min, who is only available for free on our consoles. So really what I would start with is test out these survivors, play around with their exhaustion perks. So sprint burst, and we got them here, a little or dead hard and lithe. All three have their merits, and we'll kind of go through that as we go through the different survivors. But we'll talk about them and show some recommended builds. So we'll start with Meg. Meg is probably the most straightforward one to pick up and probably our number one recommendation. But again, you might fall in love with one of the other exhaustion perks or one of the other characters, and any of these are a fine option to start out with. So with Meg, you have some fantastic starting perks. Uh, you've got adrenaline, which will heal you one full health state when you power the gates at the end of the game when the generators are complete. So if you're on the ground, you're up and running. If you're injured, you're fully healthy. If you're on a hook, as soon as you get off that hook, you are healed up. So it does that, and it also gives you that haste status effect, that little bit of speed there. I guess it's more of the sprint burst, not the haste status effect, but you get that 150% of normal running speed for 5 seconds. So it just can really help you out if you're the one in chase at the end. If you're on a hook or down or whatever it may be, injured, then it's a great boost to your health there to give you that final push to get out at the end of the game. So fantastic perk. Quick and quiet, a little bit lower tier of a perk, but it hides your vault and action noises, entering lockers, that kind of thing by 100%. So it can help you be a little bit stealthy. Sprint burst is fantastic. It allows you to take off in a sprint 150% of your normal running speed for 3 seconds. So great for when the killer's coming your way. You're able to just take off from the gen or from the unhook or from being unhooked, whatever it may be. Once you get better with it, you'll be able to 99 it, so you can use it in chase. When you're about to get hit, you can take off and just prolong those chases. So fantastic perk. And this is kind of the original build that I had, which was the 3 basic perks and Kindred, which is still an absolutely fine build. So no problem with this. Still recommend this on Meg if you're playing solo queue and don't have a lot of people to play with. Kindred's a fantastic perk to kind of let you know what's going on around the map, know when to go for saves, kind of coordinate things without comm. So still a good build. Still recommend this build. Another option I had was if you were playing in a Swift with friends, Survivor with friends, then you can swap in Spine Chill instead of Kindred. I would not recommend that as much anymore. Spine Chill got a significant nerf, so this build I can't recommend. So still a solid build here if you are playing solo queue, but my recommended build if you want to try something different is this build here. We're swapping out the quick and quiet for Deja Vu. It gives you a little bit of a generator speed boost with slower gens now. Definitely welcome. Also helps you not 3-gen yourself, which is basically leaving up the last 3 gens super close together so the killer can kind of patrol those very easily. So you have Adrenaline still, Sprint Burst, Deja Vu I recommend. And then Kindred's here if you're playing solo queue, but that could very easily be swapped out with something like Lightweight to make you a little bit stealthier. If you wanted to, you could run something like Inner Healing to get some extra heals there. The only issue with that is if you start running into people running boons, this is kind of counterproductive, but this build's very solid as well. So those are kind of my recommendations if you're starting out with Meg. And then if we jump to David, Dead Hard did receive a nerf, or really a significant change, right? It is a nerf, but it's a significant change, but the perk can still be used very well. If you're someone that likes to kind of wait till the last second and kind of parry attacks, and that appeals to you, then Dead Hard is still a very useful and very usable exhaustion perk. So you have to mess around with it, play with it a little bit, see if it's for you. But if it is, David's still a good choice. This was our old build with we're going to live forever. We'll make it to help confirm those safe rescues, and then Kindred, or you could swap out Spine Chill here. Uh, and then what I kind of recommend now if you're playing solo queue is swap out a few of these perks. Dead Hard obviously is there. We'll make it still good if you're trying to heal up your teammates, keep everybody healthy. Kindred's great if it's solo queue. And then Resilience kind of pairs well with all the actions you're doing and the fact that because you have Dead Hard, you might not mind being not full health all the time. So it can just help you kind of grind through those gens, heal people quicker, just do everything quicker. And one of the cool things you can do with this is you can 99 your heals. So you get almost healed, just have that last little bit left, can take advantage of the 9% additional speed. And then when you hear that tear radius coming, you get off and you can heal then if you want to be fully healthy, or you can go into looping. And if you drop a pallet or something, you can heal up just to make sure you have an extra hit to take. So that's kind of the recommended build here. If you don't need Kindred, you really could go something like Inner Healing to get extra heals, or you go with Hope just for that late game if you find yourself getting to the late game a lot. So you have some different options there. So even in Swift, Kindred is not necessarily a bad choice. And then if you are one of our console friends, we had kind of this recommended build before, which was Lithe, and then you had the kind of vault speed combo with Resilience and Spine Chill just to speed up your vaults, help you disappear with Kindred. We also kind of had played with some other builds, but that was kind of the main one we recommended. What we'd recommend now is kind of one of these two builds. We like Lithe still. Deja Vu, as we mentioned with Meg, helps you do gens faster and keep yourself from being 3-gen. Inner Healing is fantastic to give you some extra heals. Again, not recommended if there are boons in the game or your friends start playing with boons. You start running into a lot of solo queue players with boons, but it is a good perk. Also helps you kind of have a reason to knock out any sort of totems, because when you're starting out, a lot of killers run Noed. It's free. It's available to all killers. It can be good, so you'll see more of it then. And then Kindred is great as well. That if you don't need Kindred, you could run something like Hope in the place for that kind of late game boost. And what I like about this kind of build, and like this build could be used on David or Meg as well, just swap out Dead Hard or Sprint Burst. What I like about this, and even for Meg, you could put Adrenaline here instead of Hope. It's just typically better, though not necessarily. Hope gives you that haste effect all the time. If you need the healing, it's better. If you just want the speed at the end, Hope can be better. So what I like about these kind of builds is you can kind of work towards what I would consider one of the more optimum builds for Survivor down the road, which is keep your exhaustion perk. Deja Vu is good for solo queue, but if you're playing with a lot of friends, something like Prove Thyself off of Dwight is fantastic. So that'd be kind of where I go with my blood points once I've got one character kind of maxed out. Maybe go to Dwight for Prove Thyself. If you end up getting some iridescent shards and can buy a character, you grab Michaela, and then you could use Boon Circle of Healing instead of Inner Strength or Inner Healing. And you could throw, if you have Meg, you could throw Adrenaline on here instead. So it's one of those ones where it kind of can grow with you, but this build kind of does the same things. Late game perk, healing perk, gen perk, chase perk. So I kind of like to go that kind of build there. So this has just been a quick update. We're about 8 minutes into it. I don't want to drag it out too long. I was just kind of wanting to go over things, go over my recommendation there. So just to kind of summarize it real quick and cut this off at around the 10-minute mark. Play with Meg, play with David if you're on PC. If you are on console, throw Meg into that bunch. Play a couple games with them, right? You might be one perk in it. Throw on Sprint Burst, throw on Dead Hard, throw on Lithe, and see which one you like the best. Once you know which one you like the best, kind of commit to that Survivor, level them up a little bit until you get a solid build. And with Meg, we really recommend kind of a build like this: Adrenaline, Sprint Burst, Deja Vu, and Inner Healing. I think it works fantastic. If you find that you really need more information playing with solo queue teammates, you could drop one of these two perks for Kindred. Always bring the med kit. Healing is important. So solid build on Meg. With David, kind of the same sort of thing. I really recommend bring your exhaustion perk, bring Kindred if you can. Some of these other perks pair well, but you could run something just like, there you go. You could run something like Dead Hard, Deja Vu, or Inner Healing like we did on the other one. and then insert fourth perk. Could be Kindred, could be Hope, either one of those. And you have a solid build that then builds into our kind of next step, which is unlocking some teachables. And then with Fang, it's the same sort of thing. You can run Lithe, your exhaustion perk, Deja Vu for gens, Inner Healing for healing. And then you can run Kindred, or if you don't need Kindred, slap Hope on there. And yeah, it's just a fantastic starting point. And then, like we said, our recommendation on the next step would be maybe go to Dwight for Prove Thyself, or pick up, where's she at, Michaela, or Inner Healing, Circle of Healing. I'm saying Inner Healing. I mean Circle of Healing, Boon Circle of Healing. You already have Inner Healing. So you can kind of sub out some of those, and then it just gives you a real solid build there. So that's kind of what we're shooting for. And I think what we'll do is we'll throw one of these kind of replacement builds up here, just kind of show where we would go with these perks down the line, just that way you can kind of screenshot the final product. So we take Deja Vu output, Prove Thyself there. We drop our Inner Healing for Boon Circle of Healing, and we'd probably swap out Hope for something like Adrenaline, and then boom, we've got just a fantastic build. And then you can very easily just swap out that Exhaustion perk to your favorite if you're one of those players that likes something a little bit different. So real quick and easy, that's kind of our updated recommendations for starter survivor, starter builds, and then where to go from there. So again, I'm Smig. I'm on Twitch Tuesdays and Thursdays and a lot of Saturdays, and I'm going to be posting up a lot more content on YouTube as well. So appreciate you taking a look at this. Hopefully it helps. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments and we'll try to get back to them. Have a great day and good luck in the fog.